Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another podcast, the segment podcast. Podcast engineer Joey Yates is here joining me. Folks, we have the guys from California MTB, and I am so stoked that you get a chance to learn about them. Each individual, one of them, they are all here tonight, and we're going to bring them on one at a time. But before we jump into it, I do want to recognize Mr. Joey Yates is wearing a brand new full face helmet. And I'm thinking it's from DAINESE. Is that from DAINESE?
That's DAINESE. Thing's so light, I forgot I had it on.
Joey, tell the folks a little bit about that helmet. It's brand new, right? From Italy. It's got the MIPS in it.
New. What do we got there?
You got the Twice Me technology. That Twice Me technology basically uses the chip in your phone to access your location and all of your medical information. So if you are found on the side of the trail, first responders can find you right away. Right there.
What's this weigh? Like 570 grams?
Yeah, it's so light. It's like literally like 2.5 cups of water is that thing. And we want to just go ahead and say what's up to some of the folks that are in the audience tonight. We have Alpha MTB, 2 minutes and counting, ladies and gentlemen, party time. And you know this. Mike Savicki, stoked to hear this one. Absolutely. Alpha, where did you guys ride this week? And we'll definitely ask that question on the show. Trail dogs are in the house. What's up, guys? What's up? And hey, Aaron, congratulations on what it looks like second place on the Velociraptor. Damn, that was amazing. Ed Vale. Trail Dog says, it's Isaiah. What's up, Isaiah? And then Timothy Haley is also on. He says, what's up, everyone? The seats are filling up. Thank you all for being here. Joey, it's been a little bit since we had a podcast, huh?
Yeah, it's been 2 or 3 weeks.
This feels good.
A lot has happened since.
A lot has happened since. A lot has happened since. If you guys have been looking at some of the posts that we've been doing and California MTB, there's always a lot of great things going on. But Joey, you recently got NBD, New Bike Day today.
Today was the day.
What were you rocking?
Ooh, the new Decoy, the Decoy MX.
Damn.
So fun.
Decoy MX. And the colorway, what colorway were you rocking?
It's a green.
He's got the green YT Decoy. Yes. Core 3. What do you think? Electric? You going back to acoustic or
it's gonna be hard? I rode Ted's today and it was just endless laps.
Yeah.
It was so fun. Like I was telling you earlier today that my arms were tired before anything else got tired.
Mike Savicki is saying, congratulations on the Decoy. Charlie Hicks is in the house. He's all the way from Georgia. So welcome aboard, Charlie Hicks. So, man, Joey, I'm excited to bring these guys on. I keep watching their Instagram, and there's 4 of these guys, and maybe there's more, but they're 4 core guys that I see, and they're always doing something funny. It caught my attention on the Instagram when they posted about California shutting trails down. And everything was like shutting down during that time. And I was cracking up at that one. And then I believe it was Lain or Chris where Sean said, man, I think you're going to have to get a girlfriend now. And his face was like, oh. So without further ado, Joey, what do you think? Let's bring up Chris from California MTB.
All right.
Or sorry, let's bring up Sean.
All right, here he is.
Hey, Sean.
Oh, we caught him.
Cheers.
Oh, yeah. Cheers. Yes.
How are you guys?
Doing good, Sean. Thank you for jumping on. So, Sean, are you the founder of California MTB?
Yeah, so to clarify that one, the whole California MTB brand is really more just me. The 4 of us, we're working on finding a cool name that represents what we're doing together and growing beyond just the 4 of us with some others as well. But I maybe am the guy that sort of like nudges everybody like, hey, what are you guys doing like on Thursday? You want to go to Texas or something? You know, maybe I'm that guy. But we're sort of just 4 more independent guys that just do a lot of stuff together.
Very cool. Very cool. So it started with California MTB as you found the 4 guys that are part of your crew, and you'll absorb them into whatever group name you guys call yourself, but it sounds and looks like you guys are always having a blast together, coming up with some great things. As we bring each cast member on tonight, definitely want to get into each individual person. And so, Sean, for you in mountain biking, how did you get started?
So I started riding a long time ago, but I was really, really serious about motorcycles for a long time. I was in the military. I had the opportunity to spend a couple of years of my life in Iraq and Afghanistan, kind of did some stressful stuff. When I came back, I needed something. I needed something that was dangerous, but I could do without too much danger. Not because of adrenaline, just sort of something to center me, something to find flow. And so for the longest, living in Chicago, that was motorcycles. So I rode street bikes, raced, and went all over the country doing that. And we would always go to the downhill park in the summer and rent some bikes, ride downhill, have a blast. And it just didn't make a lot of sense in Chicago because the highest elevation, I think, is somewhere between like 11 and 12 feet.
Oh, gosh.
It's not really.
Wow. I thought you were going to say 1,000.
The closest mountains are in Denver when you're in Chicago. And so 4 years ago, I moved out here to California, where I live in Thousand Oaks. And I live amongst some of the most beautiful trails, just everywhere. I had this kind of garbage bike, it was basically useless. I couldn't climb. I remember one of my first rides, I'm pedaling up the hill and I'm like, I feel pretty good. And then like 15, 65-year-old guys pass me.
Oh, no.
And then we get to the trailhead where they're all waiting and they're joking and they're like, go ahead, young man. So then I start pedaling up the trail and then they all pass me again.
Oh, damn,
and I'm
Sean.
like, okay. And so just living right inside of here where I live. And so when I realized I needed to improve my bike, coincidentally, through motorcycle racing and riding, I had a connection with Jeff Sonkrat, the owner and founder of Eminent Cycles. So I connected with Jeff, and he really just set me on the right path. And I started riding really from that one conversation. I sort of was like occasional hobbyist to I'm no longer racing motorcycles, and now I'm like an obsessive mountain bike rider.
Nice. Such a good feeling. What was it about the mountain bike when you first jumped on that got you obsessed? Was it the thrill of going downhill? Was it the combination of the workout going uphill, or was it the bike itself? What was it?
I get my workouts in the CrossFit gym. I don't ride the bike for my fitness the way that I think most people do. You have to be fit to ride, but it's not, where I really go for that. It was really like I could throw a leg over from home and pedal up, and then I could be out there in nature and have the wind in my hair. And I found that I could progress a little bit every single day. Every ride I'd come home like, oh, now I can do this one extra little thing. And because of that ability to progress for a long, long time, and the fact that, frankly, it appears to be significantly less dangerous than motorcycles, still dangerous, but less, it's been such a good fit in that way.
Nice. That's awesome that you found that the sport, and that feeling. And man, where you live, I know exactly where you're at. There's a lot of great trails out there, which is awesome. Alpha MTB is saying, love the feeling of emptying your mind, flying down some trails where you can't think of any problems, just the trail in front of you. Man,
Yep.
That is so true.
That really resonates with me for when people are like, oh, you're an adrenaline junkie. Well, people that don't ride think that.
Yeah.
All of us know I don't ride scared. I'm too scared to ride scared.
Right. Like your shirt says, go fast, don't die.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. It's almost like a flow state, when you get into riding, almost like you're somewhat meditative. You're just present at the moment, and you have to be present in order to have a good time and to perform on the bike, which is one of the things that I love. And it sounds like some of the things that you've found too while you're riding. That's cool. And Sean, what bike are you currently riding?
So I had an amazing relationship with Eminent. Loved the bike that I rode a couple of things in between. and now I'm riding a Rocky Mountain Altitude as my primary bike.
Ooh.
So through JRA Bikes and Brew, it's my local bike shop. Owner of the shop introduced me with the regional rep from Rocky Mountain, and he liked the content that I was making. He liked kind of the story I was telling, what I was doing and stuff, and he put me out on this demo ride on the bike, and I'm like, I just built a new bike. Your bike is awesome. I love it, but I'm not going to buy a bike right now.
Yeah.
I didn't realize they were kind of courting me to come over as an ambassador.
Oh, dang.
And so I've been with them since last summer. And so now I have all the Rockies. I've got Altitude, Slayer. I have an Instinct that's really my wife's bike. I've got both of the e-bikes, the Instinct Power Play and the Altitude Power Play. What am I missing? Do I have anything else? I think that's pretty much all of them.
Holy cow. Holy bikes in the garage.
Yeah. It's been amazing. And we just got the two new e-bikes. And then it's really amazing for me because in my relationship with them, I can ride whatever of the bikes. And so I get to ride all the Rocky stuff. And then through the bike shop, I get to spend time riding like all the Ibis and Intense and all the other stuff. So I get to just have an opinion on stuff, you know. People are like, hey, what do you think about the whatever? I'm like, oh, I actually have spent quite a bit of time on that bike. I know quite a bit about it.
That's nice to have that knowledge too, especially in an era where bikes are harder to come by and people really want to get the information because they're going to want to wait for that bike and they really are going to want to wait for that. So it's great that you can have that. That's cool, man. That's super cool. Crisco Bike is sending out a super chat. He said, I didn't know Chris Hemsworth was into MTB.
That's a new one for me. That's funny.
Crisco Bike is out of Boise, Idaho. So he's got some trails out that way too. We also have Octodad, Mr. Marty Richards is in the house tonight. Octodad is from New Zealand, so that's always cool to see Octodad. He says, what up, MTB nerds? He says, and then he does say riding is the best therapy. Yeah. Very much so, which is cool. Sean, I know that there are more people to your squad. Let's go ahead and introduce the next guest. Who would you like to bring?
Yeah, I'm going to introduce them a little bit myself because I want to give some background before they get to talk themselves and give a real and true. I'm going to give a false introduction, okay?
I can see them all squirming backstage right now.
So, Chris, known as Sheesh MTB, he and I have been riding together for the last couple of years, and we just do everything together. We ride together a ton of days per week, and he and I create almost all of our content together as partners and kind of push each other and motivate each other and make sure that we're constantly trying to step up our game and the quality of storytelling that we do. We linked up with Mad Chad, who at the time I'm out there riding, like we were just talking bikes. I didn't know he's like a super famous person actually in the real world outside of mountain biking. And I forget that too. We get to spend a lot of time with Chad, such a talented guy who is an absolute savage rider. He and Chris both are. And we're all right in the same area. We ride the same trails. We have sort of like that sneak out of the house at 2:30 so you can be back home for like family life type of vibe.
No one knows I was gone.
And then Lain is the guy that I think we're all trying to ride like when we grow up. He's like the actually like unbelievable talent. And so we've been spending some time with Lain. Same thing, building relationships together with different cities and different organizations and traveling. And so I am so fortunate to be able to have these three guys in my life, and that we all have your crew, like you have your crew, but you have like your core crew.
Yeah.
And so this has been such a magical thing for me that I really think a lot of us can relate to through COVID, like having my homies to get out and, you know, be there with each other has been amazing. And all of them are way, way more humble than me. And so they'll downplay their accomplishments, but they're incredibly impressive guys. So I'm so glad to have them with me today.
That is awesome. And there's definitely something about having that crew, that squad together. It feels like it's something that may be primitive back in the day when you're riding with the crew, you're out there in wilderness and you're like going after something. You're not chasing for food, but there's that adrenaline. There's that something there that maybe we've been missing for years. And when you're with your crew, you're with your pack, there's that trust, you know, you're following that rider down the trail, and you're all trying to get down safe, but you're all trying to accomplish something. So yeah, it's a cool bond. Very cool bond. That's awesome, man. Who would you like to bring on, Mr. Sean, for your first person of your crew?
Let's start with getting introduced to Sheesh. He's like the wild card. We don't know what he's going to say.
Oh
See
boy,
what happens.
here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Chris, Sheesh.
Oh, hello.
Hello, Chris.
Hello.
What a great intro by Sean, man. Welcome to the show, and definitely you guys sound like you're putting on some really good things on the Instagram, on the IG. I really, really love the one that you guys did about the trails closing down in California. That one cracked me up. But Chris, tell us a little bit about you with your relationship with mountain biking. How did it all start for you?
Yeah, well, so I'll go way back first, because obviously when I was a kid, having a bike was, you know, it was everything. It was freedom. It was the ability to see your best friends. And the other thing is I destroyed maybe 4 of my family's bikes by just riding them hard. And then you grow up one day, you know, you don't get to ride a bike anymore. And I just happened to actually go to a party at Sean's house, and he had this sick Eminent in his corner. And, you know, I hadn't looked at a bike in 10 years, but the thing looked like it looks like a stealth bomber.
Oh,
it's
dang.
it's a good looking bike. And so it caught my eye, and we got to talking about it. I think I bought a bike like a week or 2 later, maybe.
Dang,
basically.
that's quick.
Yeah, just like that. Well, because I wanted to do it. I wanted to get back into it. I didn't really know where to start. I was thinking of getting a road bike at the time, because you know, I hadn't gone into a mountain. I had no idea what to expect.
What was the bike?
It was a Rocky Mountain Thunderbolt, a trail
Ooh.
bike, 130 carbon, like mid-grade parts. I rode the hell out of that thing, didn't I? I rode it hard. It held together really well. Honestly, that was a great bike. And yeah, that's how Sean and I became best friends. I've been on RV trips with him. We go bike everywhere. Like he talks about being a bike enthusiast. It's like we really did kind of go off the deep end.
That's
with
so
bikes.
That's so good that you had a friend like built in right there with Sean, and it all started by just eyeing the bike and taking a look at it. The first time you pedaled on that Rocky Mountain, what was the thing that really hooked you into mountain biking? Do you remember what that was? That when they say I got bit by the bug, was there something there that was like, ooh?
Well, yeah. Well, let me describe the experience, because this is the way it goes, I think, probably for everybody. And I was a fit dude too, right? So I knew Sean from CrossFit, so I was kind of fit.
Sean.
But it's a new type of workout. And so I suddenly find myself like doing everything I can do to try to keep up with these guys who are just like having a breeze up the hill. And I can't even stay on the trail yet. You know, I'm at that stage. And then we started going downhill, and it was magic.
Nice.
But I heard this loud hub behind me and did the rookie mistake of turning around on a switchback.
Oh no.
And I went right in, you know, bloodied up my hands and everything. And so yeah, I had I would call it a pretty bad crash on the first day. But yeah, the downhill hooked it. I mean,
Yeah.
you're outside, it's a skill, it's athletic, it's everything, every part of the bikes is great.
Right. So cool. Wow, what a cool description of that first ride. And then the lesson of where you look, your bike wants to go.
Yeah. Don't look behind you.
Who the heck would come up on you like that with that loud hub? That's rude.
He was trying to time it. He was trying to time it so that he would catch me right at the end, but I was slower than he realized. Is what happened.
Gotcha. What kind of hub was he rocking? Like one of those instant engagement Onyxes or something like that? Yep. Oh, Chris, that's a great story. Awesome bike. Are you still rocking that bike today, or have you upgraded to another Rocky Mountain of some kind? Or?
No, I went with a Commensal Meta AM.
Ooh.
Something I can ride around the trails near me, and it's not ideal for that. It's a little too much. But I can also take it racing, and it performs well in a race, and I can take it to a park. So it's my one bike that I use everything for, almost everything for.
That's awesome. Is it the Commensal AM, Meta AM? Is that the 170, 165 or yeah?
170, 160. Yeah.
Big boy, big boy.
Long and
Nice.
laid back.
Sweet. What colorway is yours? Is it the black and white or the?
No, I really like the black and white tuxedo, but I got the Olin suspension, so it has gold components.
Yellowish gold, yeah.
And then the bike it's the same pattern, but it's dark green and light green.
Oh, I bet that looks good.
And I have a really cool wrap from Groundkeeper Customs. It's like this geometric pattern. It just really sets it off. It kind of works with the Olins. It's hot.
Nice. Nice.
I get compliments. And a spoke straw. And a spoke straw. You gotta have a spoke straw. Do you have a spoke straw?
I don't even know what a spoke straw is, but maybe I do. What is a spoke straw? Do I need one? I need one.
It's like the most important component. Yeah.
I need one. What is a spoke straw? I'm looking at the chat. They're going to start going off here. Like
California MTB's daughter invented it.
Oh.
Yeah, there we go.
Oh, look at there's a medal on that thing and everything. Okay. Spoke straw. Is that orange that I see on there? Dang.
It's a silly piece of plastic that you can buy on Amazon, 1,000 for $20 or something.
Oh, I love it.
We made it into a joke because it sets people off, and it looks like something your like older sister had on her bike, right?
That's hilarious, you guys. Well, I'm in for the spoke straw. So, and obviously multiple colors. So Sean has orange. Yours is goldish.
Obviously, yeah.
Nice. I am definitely into that black and gold for sure. I saw producer Deb was on the line here. She says, I'm a little late, but I'm here. And then we got Right and Dirty out from Arizona is on the line. What's up? What's up, Eric? He's got a video coming out tomorrow, so check that out. And Trail Dog says, yes, Chris, I'm building the Commensal SX. Oh,
nice.
So
yes.
They're
going to love it. They're going to love that bike.
So that is awesome. And then Chris, you have the baton. So if you want to introduce the next guest, we'll bring on the next guest for you.
Well, I would nominate Mad Chad, my most recent riding buddy as of, I think, Wednesday or something. Sick rider, very humble guy. He takes me, the routes he takes me on, I don't even, like I'm going up a hill with him and I think I'm at the top and all of a sudden he goes like another 80 feet pure vertical.
Jeez.
Point is he's a mad rider. Point is he's a really good rider.
Jeez, those guys that have that extra gear, man, you're like, whoa, let me hold on and tow. Give me a tow. So Chris is introducing Mad Chad. So let's bring on the beast, Mad Chad. Oh.
I don't know. Just had to do it. Had to do it.
What's up, guys? That was some skill, Mad Chad. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, heck yeah. Sounds like from Chris's standpoint, you are a beast when it comes to climbing.
I do okay when it's like when it gets like stupid vertical. I don't have like amazing, I don't have an amazing genetic cardio base.
Lies.
But like no, it's true. But like I have that like
extra lung
spin gear. You know what I mean? Like where I can just climb up some dumb vertical stuff. But get me on like a 20-30 minute climb and these guys will roast me.
So
I'm not doing the 30-minute climb.
Yeah.
they they're in there.
They're out there burning it. They're burning it. So Chad, when it comes to you and mountain biking, how did it start for you?
Yeah, so I have a little bit of like bike background from my childhood, like most of us, obviously. I was that dumb kid in the neighborhood who would like take like metal. My dad did construction as a side job. He did like concrete work. So I would take like the metal stakes from like, what he would use to build forms. And then I would take like 3 or 4 cinder blocks and stack those up. And the kids in the neighborhood would be like, dude, go off it, and I would just launch off it and land on my head, like no helmet, you know, like that type of stuff. But my younger brother, he actually, we met at like a neighborhood kid, and he was pretty good on the bike. He could like bunny hop and stuff. We were like, whoa. And my brother became friends with him and started racing BMX.
Oh, damn.
And he was good. My brother was very good. He went expert like very fast and was like winning some pretty big races and stuff. And I was just kind of like, that seems like fun. This seems cool. So I started racing BMX maybe when I was like 12 or 13, I think. And then it was never really like my thing. Like I had that like stupid gear. Like I could spin really fast and I could pedal fast, but my nickname Mad Chad. So this is funny. So like Mad Chad is like my dance moniker.
Okay.
But it actually comes from BMX. So
what?
It's really weird, but like, so I did okay in BMX, but it was like, I could go pretty fast, but then out of nowhere, I would just attempt something I never attempt. Like there'd be a triple on the course, some new course, and I would just go for it for the first time. You know what I mean?
in the race.
In the middle of the race. No, always in the middle of the race. Try something I never tried before, like a new line through the rhythm section, whatever. And like essentially like I won sometimes, but then like I ate shit a lot. You know what I mean? Like I would get, yeah, exactly. And I would just get like a whole shot. Like I would get a whole shot a lot of the times and then just like eat shit and be out of it. So the announcer, I came up, I would race BMX at Sycamore BMX in Simi Valley. And that's where like Danny Nelson from Powerlight, he was like our big pro at the time. But the announcer would be like, "Oh, we've got Chad the Madman Smith," and then that evolved into Mad Chad, and I like had it on my jersey and stuff. But I was Well, let me say, I raced BMX. I was not very good. I was like, I got to intermediate, and I went to like a couple big-ish races, and usually like ate shit in the finals. Yeah. Then I got into. Yeah, exactly. No, I literally at the World Cup of BMX in Pomona, I think it was like 1996. Like there was maybe like a couple rollers and then like a huge triple. It was like the first big jump on the track. And in the middle of the final, didn't try it in warm up in practice or anything, and went for it and I cased it. It went over the bars in the final at the World Cup of BMX. But yeah, then I got into other sports. I was actually like always playing a lot of sports. And so the crashing in BMX, even just like getting the shinners and stuff was like affecting like track and field and basketball and football and stuff. And like, I started to get really into track and field. That was like my thing. And so like I couldn't be getting hurt doing something that I wasn't very good at. So I got into sports and everything, stopped racing BMX. And then I didn't like really touch a bike for like 20 years. It was like, I did sports. I ran track and field. I did, then I got into the dancing thing. And then that was like, you know, obviously dance was my life for a large chunk of time. And then I want to say like 2015 or 2016, I was living in LA, and I always loved the outdoors. I always loved nature, hiking, things like that, constantly hiking. And I just randomly, like, I wanted a bike, like a mountain bike that I could like put in the back of my car. Okay. So out of nowhere, I looked online. I was like researching. I found this bike. It's like this Montague folding bike, mountain bike that like paratroopers use it was actually like expensive to me at the time, like $500. I was like, oh man, I don't know. Like I can't swing that.
Food money, gas money.
Yeah. But there was like a Hummer version of it. So with the like H2 Hummer, you could get this free Montague mountain bike, folding bike. And so I ended up getting that from someone. I found someone on Craigslist that had the Hummer one. So I had this Hummer bike. It literally just says like Hummer on the side. Like, and it's this folding mountain bike.
Says, no.
And yeah, so like I'm from the 805 area of Ventura County. Like I grew up in Santa Paula and Camarillo, and I hiked and stuff and everything growing up, but I lived in LA for almost 20 years and then moved back out here. And I moved back out to Thousand Oaks and was like, I was trail running and I've got screwed up knees. I've had like 4 knee surgeries.
Oh,
And my knees kind of just were progressively getting like more and more irritated, agitated. But I had this like Hummer folding bike and I'm like, let me tell you something about my like out the door, like super local trails. They are extremely rocky and it's like this lava rock. It's very sharp, pointy rocks, like square edge hits. And I tried to take this Hummer bike out there, 26 inch.
Oh no.
You know, we're talking a 90-degree head tube angle, no dropper post. Like the seat is just like, I went out like one time on it and I'm like, I'm going to pass away. Like, this isn't going to happen. But I was like intrigued, you know, I was surprised by the fact that like the climbing didn't kill me. Like I was like, it killed me, but I was like, oh, I was more afraid of like the idea of suffering, like the climbing, like, oh, this is going to suck. And I suffered and I was like, that's not that bad. Like the suffering isn't that bad. I kind of enjoy it. And so I went and picked up I looked around a little bit and I was like, I need a real mountain bike. Like this isn't going to cut it. So I picked up a Giant Stance, which is their like, it's like their entry level full suspension bike. It was aluminum, entry level Sun Tour suspension, really bad brakes and everything. But essentially I got that bike and I rode every day for 90 days straight.
What?
Like, every day, 90 days straight. And I was like, this is it. This is what I want to do.
Wow.
So then I was taking that bike on the dumbest trails. If you know anything about like where we live, like I was taking this Giant Stance out to like Rocky Peak and like this trail called Suicide Trail and another trail called Secret Obsession. So it's like just like black and double black, like super chunky gnar on like an entry level bike. I think I rebuilt the fork like 3 or 4 times because I would just blow it out and have to like take it apart and like redo it. And then I got a good deal, you know, of course, before the pandemic. So you could get good deals on bikes. I got a good deal on a YT Capra.
Ooh, baby.
And then I started doing some real dumb shit. But that was like, so I have like a couple things with like kind of what got me like addicted or like really like locked me in.
Yeah.
First of all, nature. I just like being out in nature, and the fact that the bike can get you out deep in it further than you can just on your feet and your legs, you know. So you could get out there, get away from people and get into like the real nature. And I can't tell you how many times like I've just like snuck up on like deer and bobcats and like I've seen a lot more like wildlife than I did before I was mountain biking because, you know, they don't hear you coming. You're loud, but you sneak up on them faster. You know what I mean? And then all of a sudden you're there. Yes. Trail Dog says e-bike can get you even further. Yes, I'm aware. So someday. So there's that. And then the other thing is the suffering. Like I actually, it's kind of like a love-hate relationship with it, but like I kind of dig the stay hard kind of mentality. And I dig the stay ready so you don't have to get ready, you know. And I think that it's and I think it's healthy for us to suffer a bit on a regular basis, you know, for when real life happens and real stuff happens and you're much more like mentally and physically prepared to deal with that stuff.
Man.
So, and then the third thing, the big thing, you know, which is just the fucking stoke on the downhill, man.
Yeah.
And like, I remember it was the first time I went down Space Mountain. Space Mountain is the trail. It's like an intermediate blue trail near us, but it's one of the more popular downhills. It's a long enough downhill. There's like some turns and they're kind of bermy. So I remember like I went down Space Mountain and just hitting like those turns and going what I felt like was fast at the time, like and surviving it, you know. I was so stoked that I get down to the bottom and I like, at the time I didn't have a bike rack, so I did take my bike apart to like put it in the back of my car. And I take the rear wheel off and I'm like, I'm so stoked that I like call my brother immediately. I'm like, dude, like mountain biking is so sick. Like you gotta come out. Like this is crazy. This was like a chunky BMX track, like the whole way down, like with berms and like, oh man.
So
and
fun.
I drive away without my wheel.
Oh no.
Because I left it. And because I was like, I was out of it. I was just like, dude, this is so sick. Like, oh my God, you got to do this. Like, and I just drove away. I left the wheel. And what's crazy is I remembered that I saw some guys, some other mountain bikers out there. Didn't talk to them, didn't really meet them, but I saw they had some shirts on. I was like, what did their shirts say? And it came to me, it was JRA. And I was like, JRA, what is that? It's a bike shop? Like, and I look it up, JRA Bikes and Brew. And I hit them up and someone had reached out saying that they found a wheel out there.
Oh,
and like
cool.
They linked me up with that guy. And at the time it was like, I had just dropped $1,500 on my first bike, which was mind blowing to me. You know what I mean? Like $1,500 on a bike, like, oh my God. And then I lose the wheel. Like, oh no.
Oh, I was so stoked too.
And so JRA got me linked up with the wheel. And it's funny now, cause now that's like those are the homies. Like that's the local bike shop. You know what I mean?
Wow.
And they're awesome. And we're doing group rides with them all the time. And yeah, I'm long-winded. Sorry.
No, I love it. That was a great story. And how cool is it? How full circle was that JRA, and on your stoke, someone retrieved your wheel and found it to its owner. That just says volumes about the mountain bike community. You know, that is so cool. We all take care of each other.
They went out of their way to contact this guy. Like it wasn't like one of their riders. They like, someone found a wheel. He's like, oh, I don't know whose wheel this is. And they're like, oh, give us your number and we'll, you know, and then they like went out of their way to like find this guy and like get my wheel back. And it's funny now because like when I first started going to them as like an actual bike shop, like that was like a big reason why I wanted to support their business. You know what I mean? Because
that's cool.
I feel like we actually have like a fair amount of bike shops in the area and like decent ones, but I'm not gonna like badmouth any of them or anything, but like that kind of personal connection and touch is like really big with them. And you know, like they ride, like JRA, like those guys ride, you know what I mean? And like, you know, you talk to people at bike shops and like, you know, someone will be like, can I help you? And you start talking about like, well, do I want this casing tire or do I want the 3-seat compound, you know, whatever. And they're like, oh, I actually don't mountain bike. And you're like, what?
I know.
what's going on? Like, I don't, no, you can't help me.
Yeah, that's the worst. You're like, this is a road bike tire. What are you doing?
Yeah, exactly.
Not
Chad,
JRA. Speaking of JRA, and I'm honored to be one of the riders now. I earned that right last year. Took a while. But what do you ride now, Chad?
So I am now on a Rocky Mountain altitude.
Oh, dang.
that, Sean hooked me up through JRA and got me in contact with them. And I got a sweet setup on one of their demo bikes. The altitude is like completely different than my last bike. So it's like, it's been taking some time to get used to, but like now I'm like, okay. One of the big things is just like, it's a big bike, extremely long bike. Okay. And the suspension is like very plush. So I'm coming from an Ibis Ritmo, which was like also a great bike, really amazing pedaling bike, but the downhill, the chunk, the plushness on the Rocky Mountain is like, it feels like my Capra with the coil, but with an air shock.
Oh,
So
nice.
it's got a nice feel, and I'm running DVO suspension. Those are also the homies, like Ronnie over there, and Bryson and Rob, and I have like a good relationship with those guys. So I just put DVO on all my stuff. So Rocky Mountain and DVO. That's where I'm at right now.
Oh, it sounds like a beautiful bike. What colorway is yours?
Yeah, so it's black and red essentially. So I've got the DVO green accents, and then my bike is black, and I've got like some red details, and I want to get a custom the red and black. Yeah. Red's my favorite color. So it's either like all red or like black with red.
Nice.
That's what I gotta. I want to get a custom like logo essentially that says Rocky Robot. It's like red.
Heck yeah, man. That would be so dope. Tumor Warriors online, he says, let's go, Rocky Mountain gang.
Yeah.
Tumor Warrior is a kiddo who had a crash. Turns out that crash saved his life. Without that crash, they wouldn't have found a tumor in his brain. So he's got a really cool story. Trail Dog saying DVO is sick.
Yes.
And then Zach's also saying, what kind of altitude? Is there different types?
I'll take that if I can.
Yeah, go ahead.
We both ride altitude C70s, but you would never know that we ride the same exact bike because our bikes are vastly different.
Really?
I think we have generally parts of the same brakes and about nothing else.
What?
We have different wheels from each other. We have different drivetrains from each other. We have different suspensions from each other, like different handlebars. Like we really make, the guys from Rocky would say, we want customers to be able to look at your builds and dream.
Oh, dang, that's cool. That's very cool.
Nice.
So from the factory, you can personalize it straight to you. No?
No, but because they sell through bike shops, so we have a unique situation. But generally, what we see a lot of people doing is they'll call up the bike shop and say, "Hey, I want to buy a Rocky Mountain, whatever," and they can do this with the other stuff like JRA sells and tents and IBIS and some cool stuff. But they'll say, I know it comes with the 36 on it, but I don't really want that. I want the 38. Can you just pull that off right away? No, people just sell the stuff, and it costs them very little if you do it when you take delivery.
Gotcha.
So we both are on, our drivetrains are, like I'm on the Axis X01 with the 52. Your drivetrain, Chad, please. I looked at it today, and I was like, you got to tell people about this.
What is this? What is this, Chad?
Well, I run the E13 Helix R cassette, which I ran some of the E13 cassettes in the past, and I kind of burned through them. But so far, I've had like really good luck with this new cassette of theirs. And what's rad about it is it's like significantly cheaper, but like the same weight as like a SRAM X01 cassette. And what I like about it is it's a 9 to 50 tooth. So you have that 9 tooth, so you can actually gear down your chain ring in the front, and you effectively have a larger range than the newest Eagle 10 to 52. 9 to 50. It doesn't seem like it, but you can do some calculations.
Wow.
So if you run, say, like you normally run like a 32 tooth chain ring, you can size down and go to a 30, and you can have easier climbing. But then you end up also having like that top gear, when you're going downhill.
Yeah.
And I run an oval chain ring as well, absolute black. I was playing with, so Sean is just actually this is the guy, he lets everyone like borrow and use everything. And it's like, so first of all, first I want to say, he let my brother borrow one of his e-bikes yesterday, and we went on like a 14-mile ride. And that's where like
awesome.
That's one of the rad things about e-bikes, you know, is like my brother does not mountain bike. We raced BMX together as kids, so he knows kind of like what he's doing on a bike a little bit. But like the fact that we were able to do like a 14-mile ride with like, I don't know, 2,000 feet of climbing or something, and like he's clapped out. Like I gassed him out, but like the fact that he was even able to do like half of that with me, let alone 14 miles, like that's amazing. And thank you again, you know, Sean, for letting me borrow that. And like this guy's like the most generous guy. Like, and then right after that, like he's like, oh, let me come to you and get the e-bike, and then he lets me borrow his some cranks that he had as well.
Dang,
So
Sean.
I'm messing around with some cranks right now, trying to decide between I know this sounds crazy, but between 165 and 175.
Wow.
Or maybe I'll end up back in the middle, but I think like 165 seems like the way to go for pedal strikes if you can get used to it. But I've tried it for a while, and like I've got almost a 38-inch effective inseam. And he's
11 feet tall.
I was gonna say, how tall are you, Chad?
I'm like 6'3", 6'4", but I'm mostly legs, so I'm very much like a crane or a giraffe or something. Or actually, no, I joke around. I'm built like a T-Rex. So I have very long legs, and kind of effectively short arms. So I think my reach is essentially the same as my height. So I just have like a 0 ape index, but I have very long legs. So I'm thinking like I might have to sacrifice the pedal strikes for the like regular, like the sizing that's correct for my leg length. You know what I mean? But something that's interesting that I didn't really realize until like very recently is that crank length affects your gearing. And what I mean by that is like, you know, you have a longer crank length, that's a longer lever that allows you to create more leverage when you pedal. So if you're shortening your crank, you have to size down. So I had like on my 165 cranks, I was trying out a 26 tooth chain ring. So I had the 9 to 50 helix, and I had this 26 tooth chain ring, and Sean's like, is that a 12 tooth chain ring? Like, what is that?
Hamster wheeling.
He's like, yeah. And I'm like, that's my gear, man. I live there. I got the long legs, but I like to. Or you like 175s, I can go back to the 28 tooth.
That feels better. Yeah. Just the pedals are hitting you a little more as they strike the ground if they strike the ground. But
yes,
maybe go 65 and get like a big old dropper post. So you're like way up there.
What, 165?
Yeah, like you were saying earlier, get the shorter crank, but put that dropper.
Well, I have the 240. I have the new 1UP 240 dropper post. It's like, and I use it like I use the whole thing. Like, I think there's only
Sean shaking his head.
I borrowed it. I pogo sticked around my yard for like 20 minutes on it. It was really fun. Boing, boing. We gotta get Lain in here, guys. Let's get Lain.
Yeah.
I want to hear his voice.
Jeez.
Yeah, let's get Joey. Let's go. Big Chad, awesome story, man, and great bikes. You guys are doing it up good. Chad, is there any kind of introduction you want to do for Mr. Lain here?
Oh man, well before I met, it sounds like. Yeah, like before I linked up with Sean and Chris and everything, I saw him on TikTok. I was like watching his POV videos, which he's one of the few people that like POV. A lot of riders do POV videos, and like a lot of them, it's either like you suck and you're crashing all the time, or you're just like absolutely insane to get views on POV videos. Most of them out there are just kind of like, you know, no one wants to watch them really, because what do you're like, what are we doing here? But Lain's are like insane. He's riding like insane trails and jump trails and like Tiger Mountain. That was one of the ones I saw, was Tiger Mountain stuff. And I watched those to like get to do recon to ride Tiger Mountain. So
Dang.
that's I knew about him before we ever like linked up. So yeah, his POV videos speak for themselves.
That's cool. That's cool. Joey, let's
And-
go ahead. Yes.
As far as I know, now we can't prove this legally in court. I believe he's the second most followed mountain biker on TikTok, only after Fabio Wimmer.
Holy
He hates
crap.
when I say that, but I believe that to be true.
Holy crap. Holy.
Yeah,
That's
think
pretty-
about this. He's got like 850,000. Chad has like 2 million followers. Like we bring this crew of guys. I mean, I'm like just trying to get started on my.
I'm the
On my
least
social
famous. I don't know what I'm doing here. I'm just some guy.
I just do the robot. I don't know. And then I'll post some crashes on my social media. People seem to enjoy that.
Lain, Joey, let's go ahead and bring Lain up on the show, ladies and gentlemen. Lain the Shredder. Lain, what's up, dude?
What's happening, everybody? Thanks, Chad and Sean, for the introduction.
So Lain, it sounds like you're a talented rider. All the guys are looking at your skill set and they're gunning for the day that they'll be able to shred down those trails like that as well. Was mountain biking something that was introduced to you early on, or is this like something that you gravitated towards later on and just progressed quickly?
So I've actually truly only been mountain biking for like the last 3 years, but
Jeez,
I grew up
I knew
racing.
it.
Yeah, so I grew up racing BMX from when I was 6 till when I was 20. So that was a lot of my skill base, and then I kind of went cold turkey from riding bikes for several years, and then I was just kind of got an industry job working at an electric bike company, and then kind of got the fuel and the fire back for the biking and the just the industry and where it's headed as a whole. Like kind of re-sparked everything, and I was like, wow, biking is actually kind of cool now. So let's dive in deep to this, see where it goes.
Now, Lain loves when I do this. When I say that, I mean he hates when I do this, but he's so chill. He's like, I just rode some BMX bikes, no big deal. Lain is a multiple-time national champion. He and his sister are the winningest brother and sister combo in like BMX history. I mean, he's a legend.
Lain.
We go places together, and people are like, "Oh, you're Lain Van Ogle. Oh yeah, we know, so and so, and used to train with whatever, and we saw you win this." And I'm like,
Wow.
he downplays it, but it's a really, really big deal. Think about it. 8 years old, 9 years old, like a little kid. I have an 8-year-old,
Yeah.
little kid, but just like savage, disciplined athlete, and that's the real Lain, I think.
Nice.
Yeah. Thankfully, Sean and Chris and I, we were at Spider Mountain a couple weeks ago, hanging with those guys. Awesome place, awesome crew, and we got to spend some time together. So they kind of got in a little behind the scenes of what Lain's up to, and kind of in my ways and stuff like that. So it was really cool to hang out with them.
That's very cool. Yeah, I think we saw some cool footage on that on the Instagram. I think Joey has some stuff back there backstage that he might pop up here in a little bit. Lain, when you took a break from BMX and you got into mountain biking, here's some images right here.
Yep, that's my page.
Is this the mountain you guys were on? Is this Spider Mountain?
Yep. This is Tarantula Trail, and this is the big Texas wall ride.
Wow.
What he doesn't tell you, this is his warm-up lap.
This was
100%.
Saturday morning first lap. We had a big crew with us, and we were actually like showing them riding them down the trail, and Sean, Chris, and I were like, come on, let's go this way. We're riding, come with us. And they're like, all right, like literally like 30 people.
Dang. So you're obviously leading the train there. So smooth, man. And were you riding that blind? Was that your first time down that trail?
No, that wasn't.
And then what's this one here? We got some. Dang.
So this is Reveille Peak Ranch, kind of literally actually just right down the street from Spider Mountain. But
that thing's like 28 feet tall, y'all.
God,
the whale tail, and then this next one come up here is like it's a boat jump.
What?
Yeah, so they got some really good
Savage,
things
dude.
brewing in Texas right now.
Holy crap. Is it still called a whale tail when it's 28 feet tall? Can it be? Is that something else? It's got to be something else.
Yeah.
Dang, Lain. So talented rider. Now, when you took a break from riding, or did I hear you right? There was like a break, life hit,
Yeah,
job.
because I had done BMX so hard for so long in my life. It was like, taking a couple of years breaks felt necessary, but then at the same time I was like, okay, where's the gap in my mental,
Mm,
capacity here? So I was just like, yes, going back to, everybody's same thing is like, mountain biking is your zen place for me,
for sure.
and
That's
it's the
awesome.
time to be out in nature doing your own thing and kind of giving yourself both the mental push and the physical push.
Did it relate to mountain, or did it relate to BMX when you first got onto the mountain bike and it kind of drew you back to when you were a kid, or was it completely a different experience?
So actually, it was like when I first got on the mountain bike, and I was like, "Wow, this is easy." Like I've been going the hard route, like my whole life, So it's just like I got shocks now. You can spin a couple, change up the gears, and so now and you got the 29-inch wheels. They roll over everything
Monster
now.
truck, yeah.
I go back to a BMX bike like once in a blue moon to ride and mess around on. I'm just like, wow, this is a straight up clown bike. How did I ever do this?
I see Chad over there nodding his head, coming back from that
Yeah,
BMX background.
it's just so sketchy. So yeah, grateful for the mountain biking, and honestly, now it's like the new places that I've been able to see and ride, and the new people and faces that I've been able to meet along the way is like that's the cool part, and that's the true story to it all is it takes me to Tiger Mountain, hanging out in the mountains and getting to hang out with my friends and stuff like that. So love
That's
it.
that's cool. So I can see you're getting in the flow. And then was that a Scott Ransom, or what bike are you riding right now?
It's a propane tie.
Oh, dang. I don't even know what
Mm,
that is. It sounds awesome. Say it again.
propane tie. So
Damn.
propane is out of Germany, but they just opened up their U.S. operations in Vancouver, Washington.
Oh, wow.
hmm
Very cool. Very cool. Are you riding the enduro size bike as well? Are you all trail, or how much?
It's enduro, 170, 160,
Yeah. Look at
carbon
this, man.
fiber, large.
Woo.
I'm about 6 foot myself, so
Okay.
and I'm long legged too.
You you and Chad
all
got the
leg.
legs going. So
hmm
I didn't get to ask Chad. Chad, are you on an extra large frame, or?
Yes,
Yes.
yes, long boys over here.
God.
Yes, it's funny because well, first I just want to say like regarding like Lane and like the BMX thing is like I mean my like couple years of like mediocre BMX are why I can like do anything on a mountain bike now in my mind.
Oh,
Like
yeah,
the
okay.
fact that like, oh, I can just do a bunny hop. Like I take that for granted now. You know what I mean? That like I could just bunny hop a 12 to 20-inch feature on the trail or whatever is like straight from
Or
BMX,
bigger.
Yeah. And like, again, I was garbage at BMX, but like, someone like Lane who like competed and raced and like got to a really high level. And like, you can see like, oh, he just started mountain biking, but it's like all those skills carry over. And it's like, I see it as like, if you want to like get good at BMX or you're like wanting, mountain biking, and you're like, you're younger and you want to get a BMX bike and just learn like basic like skills, like how to bunny hop, how to manual, like how to jump and all that stuff. And like, it's crazy because like, um, we have every like assist in the book you can get, like every tool, like with the gears and all the suspension and everything. But then of course you ride crazier trails, like for example, like this Freebird trail out at Rocky Peak. I remember seeing like Lain ride it like first time down it, and he's just like gapping everything. And I'm like, it took me like
Wow.
3 or 4 tries to like even attempt like some of these little features on this trail, but yeah, it's like that high level, like BMX, background and foundation, you know, like really carries over. But yes, I'm on an XL.
That's cool. That's cool. Excellent. And both of you guys are on the BMX background. I'm curious because every time I see somebody out there on the trails and they say they're BMX, you can almost tell instantly, like it's either moto or BMX or some kind of a style that crosses over. You guys are like lever masters when it comes to pulling up on the bike to get the pop. Do you guys find yourself getting bucked less than other people who don't come from BMX? Or is the mysterious buck happen to everybody?
I say yes. I get bucked less but I get a different issue, which is, and I'm continuously dealing with this, and it makes me not want to hit jumps, is that like, I'm still learning again. Like I didn't race BMX at a high level, and like, I know how to bunny hop and stuff, and I hit some jumps, but I was never like a dirt jumper. I just hit jumps that were on the track. You know what I mean? So like, and they're kind of different than jumps you encounter like a lot of times, like at jump parks or out on the trail. But something that happens to me is like, if I get sketched out on a jump or I think it's too big for me or whatever, I'm just weird about it. I still forget to compress the suspension. And so what I'll do is I'll just pull on the bars like it's a BMX bike. And I offset the compression, and then I like do like a weird little like dead sailor thing. And it like throws me weird because it's like the suspension needs to compress, but I'm pulling instead. So that's the issue I run into. I don't really get the buck thing because I guess I kind of know where my weight needs to be as I'm going off the lip, but I fuck up with the pulling on the bars.
With the pulling on the bars, that makes sense. You get stuck in that dead sailor where you're kind of like off to the side a little bit, but you can't move.
And exactly. And it's not a dead sailor because I'm just getting in the air and freezing. It's something goes wrong off the lip, and I'm pulling the bars and they're throwing me one way or the other. And once that happens, if it happens bad enough, your hips are going one way, the front of the bike is going one way, your hips are going the other way, and you're kind of like, oh no.
Oh man.
Yeah, that's what happens to me.
Lain, how about you? Coming from the BMX background, I'm always curious about the buck.
So I mean, the buck will get you. You know, everyone has their fine dance with that every once in a while. But my biggest thing is like coming from BMX, everything was speed and stay low and race or everything. So you're always kind of like you're pushing through the lifts and the jumps and kind of stay as low as possible. So every once in a while you will get, you know, a weird buck, but for the most part, I just, you know, thankfully I have good, you know, air and, you know, just skills to be in the air and feel comfortable. So for the most, you know, even if that were to happen every once in a while, like, you know, you can kind of handle it and be like, whoa, you know, that was a bucky lip there, you know, watch out for that. So, you know, but yeah, compressing, dealing with the suspension, kind of just setting up like that type of stuff. Like it works. And, you know, you use the momentum, don't push through the lips as much as I do, but buck happens for everyone.
Dang. Sounds like I would love to be able to get bucked and be like, I'm going to correct this in the air. Cause every time it happens to me, I don't know about you, Sean and Chris, maybe us mortals, we feel it. But when I get bucked, I'm just like, hold on. I hope I land soon.
I got a story about that.
Yeah, Sean, go for it.
I'm like 100, and I was scrolling on my Insta trying to find a video of me and Chad hitting like the road gap drop at the bottom of Rocky Peak. I couldn't find it. Maybe Chad has it. Send it over to Joey so we can enjoy that moment together.
Oh, I see Joey looking.
You know what I'm talking about, Chad?
No, I completely forgot when I body slammed from 12 feet up. Freaking 12-foot drop, and I just like
I remember it was on Veterans Days ago. That's all I remember.
Yeah, luckily I had my full face because I completely bounced my head off the Rocky Peak rocks.
Oh my god!
So
yeah, it's on TikTok and stuff. I don't know.
Find it. We got to if one of us finds it, we'll send it to Joey so we can look at it. But Chris, Chad was talking about him being a kid, and he was talking about he was the kid who would just like send it hard and then like end up on his head. Well, that's Chris as an adult, actually. And so we're out at Big Bear, and I'm like 100% always like trail dad guy. I'm like, have you eaten? Like, do you need a full face on?
Are you
Yeah,
hungry?
Yeah. I'm like, maybe
he's a-
today's not the day to hit that big drop. Like tomorrow's fine.
He's not an encourager. He doesn't. Sean
Yeah.
never pushes people to
Yeah.
do things because he doesn't want to
No.
see anyone get hurt.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
I don't
cool.
like bro people on or whatever. I just don't do
Not
it.
at all.
And so me and Chris is like on his 130 mil Rocky Mountain. Which one was it called again?
The Thunderbolt.
Thunderbolt. He's on his Thunderbolt. We're out at Big Bear. We're doing laps, and it's like his first time riding that stuff. And he's like
Muscle
new to
Beach.
riding these. You know, we're like on
I was
Party Wave.
I was 2 months in, the point where cockiness,
Yeah.
starts to
Oh.
peak.
I feel
Yeah.
a tombstone coming on.
And so it wasn't even. We're right at the beginning, and we have another buddy who's a great rider, who's also a firefighter paramedic for LA County Fire Department. Shout out, by the way, I'm on the board of that department, chief of fundraising for them. So if you guys ever want to donate money at the end of the year, hit me up. I'll tell you how to give it to the fire department.
Nice.
But we're with one of the amazing firefighter paramedics. And he's like, I can lead. And Chris is like, I'll follow you. And I'm like, oh no. Because every time I'm like in front of Chris to work as like a brake so he can't go faster. Right. I'm just like there to slow
Cutting
him
them
down.
off.
And so we go on the wood. Everybody
do it.
knows this line. Everybody knows this line
Party Wave.
on Party Wave. We're on the wood. And I'm
Big
just
Bear.
like, yeah, I'm like, wow, they're going very fast.
Oh no.
And sure enough, I see Chris ahead of me and he hits the hip, but he just doesn't know how hips work. So like the thing is, is like sort of like you take off here, but then you gotta kind of like turn and land on the side. You kind of go up and then kind of just follow the ridge along the top.
Right. Try to go
Basically,
top
it
to
works
top.
out.
Yeah.
He didn't know all that. He was like, let me just send it really big. So he sends it like
Oh
a
my
jump,
God.
except
Oh my
there's no
gosh,
landing because he goes like 10 feet this way.
Oh no.
And
To
he
the
got
flat.
bumped.
Oh
So he's
no.
in the air, like
no.
way up there, like, I believe I can, like he's way up there. But then he lands onto his face.
Oh.
And he
I wrote it all the
like-
way in.
stopped his heart. He collapsed a lung. He broke
What?
like 7 ribs, broke his collarbone.
Oh no.
And then because his lung was collapsed, me and I have some certain amount of sort of emergency medical training from being in the military. So we're sitting there, and this paramedic and I are like listening to Chris die. We're like,
Oh jeez.
seems like he broke his neck. And he's like, it was terrifying.
Oh.
And I was like, do you think he's got a broken neck? And he's like, it kind of seems like it. Yeah, huh? It's hard to tell right now. But it's just the sound of the collapsed lung.
I can hear you guys.
Yeah. So we're there, and we're like, he's probably dead, right? Yeah, he looks dead to me. And Chris is
Check
there
his
like,
pockets.
Well, my thought was my neck's not broken because everything hurts.
Oh, you can feel your whole body. Yeah.
Like definitely not broken. I can feel it. It hurts. Yeah.
That's part of why I am the way that I am. I'm like so careful because then he was off the bike for how long that time?
That time it wasn't very long. It was only like 4 months total.
Whoa.
So then
That means
we
a
start
lot,
racing
Cody.
downhill. We're racing downhill. We're like in January. We do round 1. We go to practice. I've been on my bike the whole time. I'm just like shredding, having fun. And I'm on a downhill bike, and he's on his Meta. Good
Yeah.
bike for that.
Brand,
we're
like, it was
riding,
brand new.
uh,
It's brand new.
We're riding Side Action Stagecoach, if you know that one, over by Rocky Peak. First lap, it's me, my son, Tyler, who, by the way, is racing as a pro in enduro,
Oh,
15-year-old super
Shout
fast shredder.
Tyler.
Yeah, so Tyler's savage, but it's the 3 of us. And Tyler's like, I'll go last. I got to really warm up. I'm kind of tight. Literally first lap, Chris like flips over,
Oh no, Chris.
and then he's like this. He's
It
like,
happened again.
I'm fine. Nothing's
Yeah.
wrong with me. The collarbone's completely destroyed.
Oh
He's like,
my
I'll
God.
just wait in the car and you guys do like 5 more laps. I'll just get the collarbone fixed up tomorrow or whatever. We're like, no, we're going home.
Dude.
So yeah, getting bucked. OTB Chris, Trail Dad. That's kind of
Dang. No wonder why you have to get in front of him to kind of like slow him down. That's a pretty smart move. That's a pretty smart
he's
move.
starting to grow up now that we're all like 40-ish and up, and so maybe not Lain, but the 3 of us,
Look
we're
at that,
starting to
Lain.
mature a little. We're starting to mature a little.
Very good. That's
So
very
Rocky Peak is gnarly. Like I broke my
Mhm.
wrist at Rocky Peak, but what's funny is Side Action is like the most chill trail out there, but there's that
is.
one there's that one rock drop. It's like, is it a lip? Is it a drop? You kind of like lip off it and clear the whole rock. But like, yeah, that was, so I broke my wrist riding a trail called Undertow. Got weird, got sideways, couldn't recover, hit a 4-foot tall boulder, went over the bars on a really steep, like rocky section, and just landed like on my hand. But it wasn't a compound fracture. So I didn't know that I'd broken my wrist, and my shoulder really hurt. And then, so we went to do another lap, and I was riding side action. And while I was going down side action, that's when I realized, I was like, oh, my wrist is trash. Like something's wrong.
Dang.
And then I think Chris, you broke your collarbone like a few days after that.
Oh, okay.
If I remember correctly.
Is that what?
Yeah, because
That's right.
Wow.
That's right.
Because I broke
So I'm the
my
only
wrist,
one riding.
and then-
I'm like, you guys want to ride? Oh yeah, you can.
Well, I kept riding.
Yeah, you did, and you still keep
Which
riding
is-
with like a mechanical wrist
still-
now.
Yeah, I have, because I didn't let it heal, I guess, that very well, and I kind of went down on it a couple more times while it was still like
Broken?
my distal radius was cracked.
Ooh.
But like, I mean, as long as it's not a compound fracture, like the real issue is the ligaments and tendons and everything. Like that's where the issue is, So I had a couple times where like I had the brace on and stuff, and I was just sending it anyways. But then because everything in there was wrecked, like my whole arm went dead, like in the middle of a downhill, and my arm just like stopped working, and I had to like skid and like fall over.
Oh
Because I'm just
no.
like, it was like your body's like at some point like stop.
Yeah, it was
You-
shutting
you
everything
need to-
down.
You need to take a break.
Was it, if it was your right hand, was your back brake that froze up on you that you couldn't use because of your wrist?
Yeah. So I was going down this local trail out here near me, and there's this one like kind of, it's funny, it's kind of like side action a little bit. It's like fast and pretty steep and rocky, but not super gnarly. But you can pick up speed on it and get pretty wild. And I'm just going down it, and because of the injury and just pushing it too hard, it like the nerves like shut my whole arm down, and like I couldn't squeeze the brake. So I literally had to like essentially like steer myself off the trail and like almost force a crash, but like a safer crash than if I had just stayed on, I just like rode into like the brush and like, all right, it's like a semi truck going down and they lose their brakes and they have to like do the little turn off thing, I did one of those.
As you're going and you're like, no poison oak.
Yeah.
As you're jumping in.
Luckily, we have Devil's Velcro near me, which is like the horrible cactus. It's the terrible cactus.
Yep.
Chris got some of it.
Chris.
On a little ride, a
Right
trail
in the
called
hand.
Cactus A-line. It's like it goes in and then it just doesn't want to come out. Like you need like pliers.
Yeah.
Oh.
Legitimate
You swear
pliers.
it's in the bone. Yeah.
Oh.
Yes.
Gosh.
Yes.
Jeez.
So luckily I've had that. I've gone into it a few times, but that time I picked a good spot
to
It's
crash.
just like,
Oh
yeah.
man, that would be insult on injury if you happen to hit the cactus and having a broken arm.
Yeah.
But hey, I have all four of you on, and obviously different talents, different backgrounds, different day jobs, but you guys share the stoke on the mountain bike. But how do you guys work together as a group into the community? Can you share a little bit about what you guys do as a whole team?
I'd like to make a comment on that and then invite Lain to comment if that's okay with you guys.
For sure.
So because of the fact that I raced motorcycles for so long, I really learned a lot about how to work with companies and add value to them, which is like a code that people cannot seem to crack. Like, how do I become a sponsored rider or a whatever? They should be asking like, how can I add significant value to companies and to people and relationships? And so we kind of want to add value to a community. We lead group rides and we participate in group rides. We have a sick crew of shredders called the DMC that Chad invited me to, and I was like super nervous to ride with them because they're all very fast and they provide a huge value to our community. Chris is like, yeah, these guys are fast, but they're great riders. And then, so we have our JRA crew, and even on the internet, like Sheesh, Chris, and I try to like tell the knucklehead kids that are bullying each other in the comments, like, you should apologize for that. And then they do. It's kind of weird, but we just want to like create this huge vibe of positivity physically and so on.
Awesome.
But which is kind of just who we all are. But Lane's doing something, I could say he and I are working on it together because I'm doing 0% of the work and Lane's doing 100. So I'm doing some number, which is 0. And he's kind of working on something called the LVO experience. And we're building these relationships with a couple of cities where we can potentially like create this exportable model. And he's got a big vision that I just want to be here to like be his yes man and hype man or whatever. So Lain, you want to talk about that?
Yeah. So, I mean, long story short, mountain biking is the largest sport in the world. You know, in 10 years, just with the way like transportation as a whole with like the electric. So long story, like I worked at Rad Power Bikes, and, you know, it's like 3 years ago. If you ever heard of the company, they're the largest North America retailer for, you know, electric bikes, and they've done well at tapping into the lower price e-bike market, you know, and just doing volume. So I saw that volume taking place like 3 years ago before everything happened. So I really got sense of like, hey, biking is the thing. It's the, you know, it's the mode of transportation of the future. So like 3 years ago, I just stuck to the TikTok and the POVs, and I focused on like having smooth, stable, you know, kind of crisp looking shots that were satisfying to watch. And from that, I just try to build the community as like, you know, I want kids. The purpose of the posting the video is so the kids see the video, they get influenced to go out and ride their bicycle, you know, get outside with their friends, hang out, you know, and you know, just get outside themselves and, you know, have some type of recreational activity. But now, you know, riding bikes, you know, that's what I did as a kid. That was my fun thing to do with my friends. So it's, you know, sharing that with them now, you know, and kind of being the leader and like, you know, showing up to the trails, like wherever if it was Sopwee Bike Park, if you have ever heard of that place, you know, like we did a little meet up there. We made a video. It was a cool little vibe that we all got together and, you know, was able to share with the local community, but like just taking that and implementing it to other cities around the country, wherever they have the bike park, you know, so doing these bike meetups and literally, I think of it as like a huge networking opportunity where we can meet, greet, you know, catch everyone's story really quick, you know, who are you, where you been, and, you know, what shoes are you wearing, you know, type of thing. And you can really get close with people really quick in that regard. And then you have, you know, lifelong friends for a long time after that. So yeah, my whole thing this year is I'm going around the country and riding with the kids. As simple as that right there. So
That's awesome, man. Heck yeah. I feel like, you know, I mean, the timing is amazing too, because when obviously the pandemic hit and a lot of kids were at home, some of them were trying to work off of screens. It was a different environment for them, you know, and to have something to look at and to be motivated by, to get outside and to do that. And then to have you come out for them to meet you and ride with you and connect people. And, you know, it was hard for a lot of people, and it's cool that you're doing that work out there. So that's awesome, you guys.
Thank you very much. It's you know, it's very appreciative, especially like, you know, now when you have the little kid or not even a little kid, but the person that comes up to you at the trails and say like, I, you know, started riding because of, you know, I saw your video, you know, like, okay, cool. That's what I'm doing this for. You know, that's what I'm pushing for. So it's all working, and yeah, just very thankful for that.
That's cool. That's got to be a feeling that's like second to none, you know, when you get that. Right on, bro. That's awesome.
And Sean's really good at working with the people too.
Well, I wasn't going to say that by any means, but I was going to share a little story. I really believe that there's a need right there for people to connect. Like right now, people are disconnected. Think about, like, I have 4 kids from 17 down to 8, and my 17-year-old missed half of high school. Tyler missed half of high school. My middle schooler missed like the end of elementary into middle school. And my 8-year-old daughter missed like a big chunk of elementary school, the social interactions and such. And so I know from what I do at work, working with people that became very isolated and just observing and so on, that people needed a way to connect. And I remember growing up, my grandpa would tell me, like, hey, you got to learn how to golf. I'm like, no, I'm going to make them come out and surf or ride bikes or something with me, when I'm just going to get a big enough job where people got to come do my thing. And now that's what I do. I take people to ride bikes, and we just ride a gravel road or whatever on an e-bike, but they freak out and love it, you know? But I had something happen this summer where my son Tyler and I kicked off like a 6-week RV trip to just go wherever the wind. Alexa, always listening. Wherever the wind blew us in the RV, and then my wife and daughters were going to fly into Denver and meet us after a couple of weeks that we'd been on the road. She's rude. That device is rude. Sorry.
Are you sure you want to buy a boat? Yeah.
So 3 days into the trip, we're in St. George, Utah,
Mm.
and Tyler crashes on like a little tiny jump and breaks both his hands.
Oh no.
And so he's like out for the rest of the whole summer of 6 weeks of being in a mountain bike trip in an RV, like a dream trip for a rider. And he can't ride at all. He's like the whole time, you know?
Oh,
and
no.
So we get to Bryan Head, and the spoke straws and the decals, and then even for me being like a small account or whatever, maybe I've got like 60,000 people following my pages. It's enough that mountain bike people recognize me sometimes. And I put up a post like, I'm going to be in Utah. These 2 shredders hit me up. So I ride with these guys, and it's very common. We all observe this. A lot of the people that are really pumped to ride with us are like, teenage guys or young in their 20s or whatever, like a half or a third of my age or something. And they're really kind of excited to ride with my son because he's actually talented on the bike. And so we meet these 2 guys that are like 18 and 19. We ride all day at Bryan Head. We had like the best day. And we're like taking videos. I'm like texting them the videos, whatever. We head out of town the next morning at like 9-10 a.m. We're driving somewhere, heading east, I think. And one of the guys calls me. He's like, hey, Mr. Kingsbury, I'm sorry. I don't know if you even want to know this or whatever, but I just thought you might. The other guy that we'd ridden with all day yesterday committed suicide last night.
Oh no.
19-year-old kid.
Oh.
Came home after like a super sick day. He had like the best day. They were chatting the whole way home. And then in the evening, him and his girlfriend split up, and then he, And for me, I've always been sort of thoughtful about that stuff, having my own 4 kids and observing the way that people act and so on. But that really re-motivated me to double down on the fact that, as I saw that Jack Plummer was listening in today, if we see some kids, we run into them on the trail, whether it's in person like I did today with those guys, and I put them on my Rocky Mountain e-bikes. I'm like, go ride the bikes, hit some jumps, have fun, whatever. Or if it's online, you see somebody's being rude or somebody's alone or whatever the case is, we try to make a really serious effort to be there for them, because they might really need somebody. And even for like a person with a small amount of like influence online, like maybe I have, people can still kind of look up to you. Young kids really glamorize being a social media influencer.
Yeah.
And so we can use that for good or for bad.
Right.
And the 4 of us are committed to using it for good.
That's so cool, man. That's really cool. What a powerful story. I know my wife is an educator, and wasn't really talked about, but a lot of the suicide rates in the young American kiddos went up dramatically during the pandemic.
Yeah.
And they're heavily hit. So that kudos to you guys, man. That is awesome. I think it's something we can all reflect on as we hear that, and make sure we take the time to use that influence in a positive way. That's huge. That's huge. There's Jack Plummer right there. Sean is totally the man. Never really talked or ridden with him before, and today, homie, let us rip his eaves. Such a rad dude.
That's cool. It was a random coincidence, but I'm like, just ride the Rocky Mountains, just ride them.
So cool. So cool. I love what you guys are doing, man. So with that group, you guys have, are you guys going to just absorb into California MTB? and do that, or are you guys going to create a new name for the crew, or?
I'm open for whatever. I kind of have been branded as like California MTB as me, as a guy, but I think it could become a movement too. But I think we have an idea. Like, Lain, share kind of what we've been discussing. I would love to hear from you on that.
I mean, so, you know, as a creator in the space, kind of, I don't know, so getting masterminds together, you know, get a space where all say, you know, all 5 of us right here, and then, you know, 5 of our other close creators, you know, we'll get Seabass, you know, from Normal Mountain Biker, which I'm a good friend with, and, you know, and a few other people, you know, so, you know, get another, you know, some more great guys to add to the crew, and then really just, you know, have a solid weekend in places like Visit Durango, where Sean has really good connections, you know, with them in the mountain at Purgatory and stuff like that. So, and really dive deep into the, you know, the community and the philanthropy work, where, you know, we're reaching out to, you know, whatever the local bike clubs are, the local schools, elementaries and stuff like that. And really, you know, this is, you know, it's just the movement and momentum, you know, going forward, you know, and taking that from city to city, and, you know, using our, you know, you as the podcast man, I'm as, you know, the POV satisfying video guy, you know, Mad Chad as the robot, you know, everyone brings their own little touch, you know, so if we all get together, yeah, Mad Chad over there. And then, yeah, and so, yeah, everyone gets together, kind of have this mastermind content creator event, get together. I think we can really make a movement, and, you know, continuing to grow the sport of mountain biking, which is what we all want to see. The more mountain bikers, the more money, you know, the more, you know, comes full circle with the more bike parks and trails and stuff like that. So it's a win-win for everyone if we're all just at the grassroots, you know, and staying there and working hard.
Love it, man. Love it. Yeah, count me in. Alpha MTB is saying 22 a day, and then Air Blair is saying mental health awareness. So yeah, man, that's it's a big part. I know anytime I talk to writers, you know, like this panel included, but it always has something to do with that mental aspect. You know, when we say we zone out, or we're focused on what's happening at hand, we're in the present, we're not thinking about all the stress, we're getting it out. It has something very, very, very impactful on us all, you know, and you get the stoke and the cool bikes.
And the memories and the friends.
Yeah, memories and the friends, which is so awesome, man. I love what you guys do, and I love that idea, Lain and Sean and Chad and Chris. I think that what you guys have right there is very special. And yeah, if you guys do like a mastermind thing, you know, count me in. I'd love to. I'm sure folks that are listening now live or finding this on the podcast land, wherever they download the podcast, I would be interested as well. So if they hear this, where can they follow up with that type of movement? Is there going to be a place they can go to find more information on this?
I'll say more to come right now. Lain and I, Lain's smiling because we're doing a secret project right now, but I'll say that right now we've got a partnership. We've got this amazing relationship with the friends at Spider Mountain now. We have this amazing relationship, thanks to Lain, with Bentonville. And we have this amazing relationship with Durango. And so as an idea, this is probably secret. I probably shouldn't be saying this. So James and the guys from Durango, my bad for spilling the beans. But they're excited enough about this that they want to start their own mountain bike festival based off of getting our crew to come into the city and spend time and like build out a chainless race and have some events and do some jumps and have people do silly bike ride through town and we filmed a short film together. And I mean, I have no talent in that stuff, so I just rode my bike, but they, you know, took moving pictures of me or whatever you want to say. Sorry. But so there's a lot of stuff like that. And we could see where potentially some of these things continue to develop. But at the core of everything that we do, it's going to be about get people together, get the wind in your hair, get in that state of flow, be with good people, do something healthy, and have some positive health outcomes.
Yeah,
Mhm.
love it, man. That's going to be great. And what great partners and what great places to go to. If there is a festival allegedly coming in that area, just being out in that location alone is going to be positive. And then to be around all of us, it just all of us as a mountain bike community together is awesome. AP1 Reviews and Adventure says making MTB moves. It's amazing to see the sport progress and move forward. Thank you, you all, which is, man, so cool. Air Blair saying thank you.
And thank you, Air Blair,
Yeah.
for what you just did organizing that ride.
Yes. For those of you who are listening or don't know, we lost a young rider a couple weeks ago. Jason Aguilar was also a Moto GP racer, right? Very talented rider. He had a crash here in Laguna. And what's cool is that Blair and the crew didn't know Jason specifically, but they know this community and they know that stoke and they know that camaraderie, and they created a group ride in honor of Jason, and actually reached out to Jason's dad, had Jason's dad and sister on the ride, and they did a memorial ride for him, which was very, very touching, very cool. And one of the fellow MTBers out there who's a YouTuber, Adam Mock, put together a real nice documentary of that day. So if you haven't had a chance, check it out. It's very touching how we all come together, for in the
And
good and the bad.
and I guess I didn't really mention this, but I toured on the circuit with Jason, knew him and his whole family quite well.
Oh, wow.
So spent a lot of time with him and my racing partner, Mark Rhodes from Rhodes Racing. We hosted, and I was the commentator for Road Racing TV. Spent a lot of time interviewing Jason on there, and a lot of good memories. Great guy, amazing guy.
His dad said something in the speech that touched me. It literally, he said, Jason lived in his 25 or 26 years of life more than most people will live in a lifetime. So
Yeah,
the message there was, don't delay living, don't delay getting out there,
yeah,
get out there, enjoy, experience, go type of thing.
yep.
So that was a cool message. Well, guys, we're up to an hour and 30, but before we let you go, I think we're gonna transition to a quick blip here. But always love to give shout outs to the people that support you guys, and I call this section Product Spotlight. And if you each would just give a big shout out to a company, a product that you're using, whatever the case is, it's your time to shine some light on what that could be. And we'll just go Sean, Chris, Chad, and Lain.
Well, first, my shout out is to my wife. She is so supportive of knowing how this riding matters so much, my ability to be patient and sleep well at night and just be a more present dad and more present husband and so on. So huge shout out to Josephine. Vince from JRA. None of this would have happened without Vince from JRA. Truly. I mean, the guy is an angel and he's an amazing rider, amazing bike shop owner here in Thousand Oaks, who connected me to Rocky Mountain, who I must say thank you to, because Gavin at Rocky Mountain and Ryan and John and all the people that I have the opportunity to work with are like the best people that happen to make the sickest bikes. John from SSB, I don't know if you guys know this, I just shot a video on Wednesday, like my debut riding and interview video with SSB. I'm one of their newest riders. So it's an honor to be on this crew with Bucci and all these insane people that are so much more talented than me. I think I'm like the diversity hire or something like that. I don't know why they chose me. I don't know why. And of course, Go Fast, Don't Die. I've had a relationship with them since I was racing motorcycles. When I switched over to mountain bike, they stuck with me and my whole family and Tyler. Huge amount of gratitude for a company that stuck with me, and as I transitioned from like a well-known motorcycle racer to a nobody casual mountain bike rider, it's just unbelievable. So those are my biggest ones, and of course Durango. I mean, everybody there. So that's it. I could go on, but those are some very important people to me.
That's a great product spotlight. That's a great shout out. Well played too with the Josephine. The rest of us have to do that as well. Chris, how about you, bud?
Yeah, actually, you took mine. I have a way shorter list. I also want to thank Sean's wife, Josephine, who sometimes rescues us when we get ourselves buried in the bush and
Nice.
has dinner waiting for her and him and me. And yeah, shout out to
Oh,
Josephine and
oh,
bikes.
yeah, yeah. Chad, how about you, Chad?
So yeah, I gotta go with the theme of thanking, I guess, I mean, thanking my wife and my daughter, because you gotta like this, it's a big deal, like having your person out there, like kind of sometimes like it's a risky thing we're doing, you know, and it's good for us and it's great physically and for mental health. And like at this point, like I need it, you know, but like it's a big it's stressful sometimes as like a family member and a loved one, you know what I mean? Like you're on these night rides and whatever. So my wife and daughter are, you know, they go, you don't crash, you know. So I appreciate their concern. And then yeah, well, DVO is like they've hooked it up for me for a while. And randomly Ronnie, one of their technicians over there at DVO, like he followed me, and he's into hip hop and he's from New York, and he followed me like kind of my career and my dance stuff and everything. And when I started mountain biking, he started hitting me up and was like, "Oh, that's cool, man. Like rad sport, right?" Like, and I was like, "Dude, I'm loving it." And he's like, "Oh yeah, I like work on and like design suspension and stuff." And he sends me like, you know, where his office, and it's all the like the forks and everything. I'm like, "What?"
Wow.
And he's like, "Yeah, let me know." I'm like, "I'm letting you know. Like, I'm interested." And then like right now, my biggest sponsor is probably Sean, who linked me up with like JRA and
Yeah,
Rocky
agreed.
Mountain.
Me too.
And yeah. And like I'm borrowing his cranks right now. I'm rocking the e-bike yesterday. So no, but yeah, I mean through JRA, through Sean, through JRA, through Gavin, like I got a really awesome setup with my altitude, and I'm really happy with it. And yeah, I look forward to continuing to shred for them, and as long as, you know, they'll have me. I also like through Hook It, I get a couple other little like things going on, and I want to shout like, you know, E13 out. Like I like their stuff a lot, and you get like a crazy discount, and like that Helix cassette, you know, like $200 for like a 350 gram, you know, cassette for that range, like is pretty awesome. And then my bracelet I'm using, Mobius braces, yeah, they give me some support there. So Liat also, yeah, that's pretty much it right now. And you know, all my followers who are there to see Robot, but you know, allow the mountain biking content when I do post it.
They want more. They want more.
Yeah. I have to figure out. I'm always thinking about like, how do I kind of cross these worlds and like combine these things? Because like as much as like, you know, we talk about like, you know, the youth and the kids coming up and everything, like I think on like a personal level, like I'm also into getting like, you know, guys and gals like our age and older, like into just anything that gets them out and like moving around and out in nature and being active. And like I share on an individual level as much as I can with anybody who's like semi interested. Like I have people hit me up in the DMs and stuff, and I'm a nerd and a techie, so you know, I like to get into the technical things. So any technical questions people ask me, I'm like, I try to like lead them in a good direction, you know, in that way. So yeah, thank you to my people, my followers who are like patient with me with the with the mountain biking, the non-robot content.
That's cool. No, that's all. I mean, that's you, right? You're mountain biker, you're robot, you're Chad, I'm sure they love it all. What is it, like 2 million of them? There's a whole bunch of folks there.
Oh, there's Tyler there. What's up?
Hey,
dude?
there's
Hey,
Tyler. What's up,
There
Tyler?
he is.
Tyler, we're just giving a quick product spotlights. Is there any particular product or bike company or component you've been using lately that you'd love to just shout out there to the folks out there in podcast land?
Sure, I'd love to shout out Rocky Mountain, just
Woo.
because I ride for them, one, and JRA Bikes and Brew, just because I work for Vince, and he tunes up my bikes for races, and I love him.
Awesome. I feel a theme, man. That JRA, that Rocky Mountain, you guys got a tight crew up there,
Yeah.
which is awesome. And then Lain, heading over to you for product spotlight. Who would you love to put on the spotlight?
I'll put out thanks you to Propane Bikes, Hand Up gloves and pants. They got some good apparel over there, and then Continental Tires. Actually, I've been with them for a couple years now, and I know Daniel, the North American sales rep. He's a longtime friend of mine from the BMX days, so very appreciative for that. And then just put the product spotlight on the followers and the people who watch my videos on a daily. They like, comment, like anything. It's obviously because of them, and if it weren't for them, I wouldn't be where I'm exactly at right here, right now. So always appreciative of that. The friends and family who've been supportive and also not supportive on both sides of that. So thank you to all.
Yeah. Nice. Lain,
and Mark,
yes,
from all of us, thank you to you
Mm-hmm.
and to Joey and to everybody
much.
involved in this. We need this as listeners and as part of the community. We need you to do this work. We all want it. And thank you for somehow getting tricked into letting us come on.
No, this has been wonderful, man. I love just having the podcast where people can have a platform to come to. We put our voices out there, and it's fun to just see it get picked up in different areas and countries and things like that. So as it grows, I love that we're all a part of this, and thank you guys for being on. It's a blast. Lain, I was going to go back and ask real quick. You said Continental Tires. Are they? I know nothing about this. Are they making MTB tires?
Mm-hmm. Yep. They've been on the market for a couple of years now, and
Ooh.
they'll be out at I'll be out at Sedona Mountain Bike Festival. So for anybody listening, I know Continental will be out there too. So if you are in Sedona next weekend, I'll be wearing my orange shirt like I always do 100% of the time. So when you see me, don't be afraid to say hi, what's up, or or let's go for a ride or anything like that. So I'm very approachable, and I try to always be that person. So say hey, what's up, and we'll get our contact information together, and we'll go for a ride or something.
I love it. Yeah. So if you guys are in Sedona, awesome mountain bike fest in Sedona. It's one of the great ones that we all have for the year. It's such an epic, beautiful place. Oh, here Joey's throwing up some of the Continental tires. This is what we're looking at here.
Mm-hmm. Those are their cross country tires. I got Continental Durkheisers are the one that I'm running right now, and that's their enduro mud. Kind of their meteor tire.
Nice. Wow.
But yeah, they're big time. They're actually the main sponsor for Sea Otter this year as well. So they'll have their Formula One big rig out there.
Dang. Always so much good stuff going on in the MTB world. I think the world's noticing the market for MTB, and the community is so special. As we transition off this podcast and we close it up tonight, can you guys let everybody know, if they haven't already? I'm sure everyone's already following you guys, but where can they follow you guys from here out? If they discover you here on this podcast, where can they follow you guys?
You guys want to reverse the order and go from Lain back up?
Let's do that. Let's do that.
Mix up this time. So you can find me on TikTok, Instagram at Lain Van Ogle, and it's just at LAINVANOGLE, and that's just my right there. There it is. That's just my name, and yeah, you can get on the Insta, or the TikTok is my go-to. But I'm doing a little bit more on the Instagram and the reels and stuff like that right now, since Facebook or Meta is picking up the pace. But yeah, or YouTube. I'm on YouTube as well at Lain Venables. So
Nice.
all across the board.
I gotta check that POV and give it a sub for sure. Chad, how about you, Mad Chad?
Yeah, so I'm just Mad Chad on all platforms. MADDCHADD double D. It's the same, and it should be the same on everything: TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, all that.
Gotcha. Very cool. Chris.
Sheesh MTB.
S-H-
Just like
Sheesh.
It's nice. It's become a
There
thing.
it is
People
right
shout it
there.
at me. I really dig it.
Yep.
I love the logo. MTB sucks. Don't
So-
do it.
Can I take 20 seconds? I'll tell you the story behind that.
Absolutely, yeah.
Oh God.
You brushing your teeth, bro.
So, I broke my collarbone at the start of 21, and I was going to be out for a long time. That's when California MTB picked up my phone, created a TikTok account for me, and that's what got me started doing TikToks. I did one a day for a while, and then they got fun.
Nice.
And that was the logo he chose. MTB sucks because I was broken.
Gotcha. That makes sense. That's funny when you see it though. So many different things go through your mind. You're like,
Yeah.
So that's how you follow Chris. And
Sheesh
then Sean, how about you?
Mine's easy. It's like the shirt, California MTB. I like Lain was primarily TikTok focused, and I've moved my focus over to Instagram a little bit more lately because the platforms are ever changing. So maybe in 3 months I'll be back the other way, but TikTok and Instagram both.
Nice. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. The squad here. I don't know what to call you guys as a collective, but we're going to go with a positive movement mountain bike community glue crew. That's a big name.
I like
All right,
that.
that's
There
set in
you go.
stone. No changes. That's the name.
I just bought the domain on GoDaddy.com.
Shirts are being printed.
The font's going like way off the chest out there. Oh man, thank you guys so much for being on tonight. I really appreciate it. For all of you who are out there listening in podcast land, go ahead and give these guys a follow. They're doing some amazing things and some amazing things coming up. Take a look at what they might be doing in the future, allegedly with Sean and Lain moving some cool stuff. If you want to see some cool robot moves, check out Mad Chad. And also take a look at some of the movies that Mad Chad has put out there in the past. He's got some epic work out there. And then if you want a good laugh and watch some great stuff with Sean and Chris, make sure you guys are checking them out too. So thank you all so much for being on the show tonight. It's good to see everybody. And don't forget, find something you love to do, be passionate about it, set those goals and work hard at it, because all that hard work will always pay off. See you guys out there. Phew!
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Have a good one.